Welcome to the Digital Talk Show with Arwa. I'm Arwa, your host, and I'm a freelancer. And every week I bring on some amazing guests on my podcast who are killing it in the online world. We bring on guests who have started their journey as a beginner and are now making some big cash months through freelancing, blogging, or any other online sources.
So, welcome everybody to the Digital Talk Show with Arwa. I have a fantastic guest with us who is Tehseen. She is a freelance content writer and an SEO expert on Upwork. She is also a full-time university student pursuing her degree in psychology. So, Tehseen, tell us our audience about yourself.
Hi, hello everybody. Hello Arwa. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I work as a freelance content writer and copywriter, and I'm also a full-time student, like you mentioned. So it's been an interesting journey. It's been a good ride. It does get difficult sometimes to manage university with work, but I feel like it's all worth it in the end.
Wow, that's amazing. So, tell us more about how did you shift from psychology to content writing?
So I've always loved reading books. So like ever since I was a little kid, I would have this really big bookshelf like full of random books, and I was always like a reader. And then I don't know, somehow that converted into writing. I used to write fiction in the start,
Wow.
and eventually I was like, okay, maybe I can make an earning through this. And I did some research and I got to know what I can do. And I actually stumbled across a job on Facebook, and I applied to it in my summer vacation back when I was 17. And I ended up getting the job, and that's how my content writing journey began.
Wow, that's amazing. So, do you have any kind of professional? Uh, have you taken any courses or have you just learned it by yourself, reading books? How did you get started with that?
So I did to learn it by myself, because like a few years ago there wasn't as much talk about Upwork and freelancing as
True,
there is
true.
now. Like nowadays everybody's talking about Upwork, but like 4 years ago nobody even knew what it was. So because
Right.
of that, there weren't many resources available. But over time I started taking some courses. Like I did the SEO fundamentals Google course, so that was amazing. I got to learn a lot from that. So, it's always about just upskilling yourself. But in the start, I was so overwhelmed because I had to learn everything by myself.
True, true. So I recently started with Upwork like a month ago and I earned around $200 approximately. So like for a newbie, how do you approach getting clients? Because I know people have this thing like Upwork is saturated, Fiverr is saturated. So as a newbie, how do you approach this method of getting clients?
So, what I always say is that even before you start applying to jobs, you should focus on your own profile first. So, what clients are going to see is your photo. They're going to see how well you've written your description. And like on Upwork, first impressions are everything. Basically, you can just make it or break it with your first impression. So, obviously, you need to look like a very well put together person who can meet deadlines, and who's careful with everything with their clients. So once your profile is all good, I recommend applying to jobs and like checking whether a client is open to hiring newbies. Because
Hmm.
there are certain jobs that require more experience. For
Hmm.
example,
Hmm.
maybe a field writing or copywriting. Obviously, if a brand is investing in copywriting, then they want to make sales, right? So they
Right.
want an experienced person to help them out with their sales. But with content writing and online writing, I feel like they're very willing to hire newbies. And there's even some jobs that are there, they're specifically written over there, okay, that yeah, willing to hire newbies, or this can be a great first opportunity for
True.
you on work. So I feel like it's better to hunt down those opportunities and to use your connects wisely, because nowadays I keep getting messages from people that, oh, we ran out of connects, now what do? I can't apply to more jobs. And I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna have to buy more or just wait until next month.
Yeah, right, right. And since you mentioned that the newbies, there's also like a filter in Upwork where you can, say that intermediate level, expert level. So if someone is new to that, you can just select that entry level filter and then you can see the jobs which are related to that. So that will be like an
Yeah,
easier option for you. Okay.
yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, right. And then, like, what is your process for content writing? So, when you get a job work, like, what process do you go through in order to fulfill the demand?
So my process is really it's really long actually, and I would like it to be shorter, but I like to, like I said, I'm a reader. So I love consuming content. So if I get a topic, I would open like 10 different websites on it and I would search everything that I can and I would read things up about it. So what that does is that it gives me some general information even about topics that I'm not familiar with. For
Hmm.
example, I'm currently working on a project about backpacking. Okay, so like backpacking tools and camping things you need when you're camping and stuff. So I've never backpacked, I've never camped. Okay, but as someone who has zero experience in that field, I started reading about, okay, so you need these things and you carry these things and that is why you need to take them, and everything needs to be lightweight and stuff. These are things I learned from reading. So it's important to get a little bit of information generally so you can build a good base, good foundation to your article. Because I feel like if you just take information online just put it into your own words, then
Hmm.
it's not unique and it's not offering any value to the reader. So eventually it doesn't really rank well on search engines too. So obviously when you read a lot of content and then when you start organizing, you make an outline. I love making outlines. I don't know, I love to be a very organized person. So I would make the whole article outline before I would even start writing. So I would know that, okay, so this thing goes in this place and this thing goes in this place. And it's much easier to like write the article even if I take a break in between.
That's awesome. So, do you use any tools to organize these things?
To organize my entire like work, like all of the deadlines that I have with different clients, I use a Trello board just for myself. So it's easier for me to like look at this, okay, I'm done with this thing is in progress and this is
Hmm.
done, this is requiring approval, this requires a revision. It's easy to keep track of things like that. But apart from that, I don't really use any tools. I feel like I just remember that, okay, I have to coordinate with this client and that client and that. I think you get used to it over time.
Yeah, true, true. Right. I know that, like, you said that you are also pursuing psychology, which is amazing. So, how do you like manage two things together? So, because I used to do a job before I went full time freelancing, so it was very hard to
Hmm.
manage two things together. So, how do you manage these things?
So I just try to time block a lot. So if I'm going, so right now I'm on summer vacation and that's fine, but there's only 1 week left. So from next week onwards, when I'll be going to university, what I do is that I'd be like, all right, I mean, I'm in university till 4, so I will come back, I'll take some rest, and then like 6 to 9, I'm not gonna pick up my phone, I'm not gonna do anything, I will sit and work. So time blocking is really important because it sort of tricks your brain into this reward sort of mechanism that you're like, okay, I work for 3 hours and then I get like 2 3 hours off to do whatever I want to. So
So,
time blocking is a great way to sort of trick your mind into being more productive and to also get your work done on time.
true, true. Absolutely. I also like right now I'm trying to learn how to, or get more organized, and I use this tool called Notion, which is helping me like organize my whole life. So everything like, or even the small things in my life, I try to put it in there so that I don't have to remember and my brain gets like a rest. So it's very good that even newbie freelancers should learn that try to be as organized as possible, because that will help you maintain a work life balance for yourself. So
Definitely. And I feel like if you don't take a good work-life balance, it's so easy to get burnt out and it's so
true,
easy
true.
to be motivated like on Upwork and everything because you're like, oh my God, I'm working too much. This is way too much effort, so many hours. And obviously you'll get burnt out and there's no point.
So coming to that, I had this question, like, what are the major struggles that you face as a freelancer?
As a freelancer, one of my major struggles is that sometimes it's just hard to work from home because there are 1 billion distractions, and you keep remembering that, oh, I had to do this, and oh, I had to do that, and you're just like very distracted at some times. So that
Hmm.
is really hard. And then apart from that, a major struggle would be that, so a lot of US based clients would prefer native writers over us non-native writers. So even if I've spent my whole life pursuing an education in English, having Cambridge degrees, but they'd still prefer a native writer over me. And I feel like building that trust with a client, that hey, you can trust me, I know what I'm doing, is just hard. It's a major struggle. And in the past, I'm not gonna lie, I've had clients be like, we love your work, but we can't work with you full time because you're not a native writer. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, that's a little not fair, but I mean, okay, it's a struggle that you face, and it's something that you learn with time, that okay, you're going to find clients eventually who are going to value your work for what it is. But it's not every client is a good fit for you.
I think having the approaching freelancing with the right mindset is very important, because I know that after like 1 or 2 weeks, if they don't get any replies back from clients, or like they don't like their work, then people get very demotivated. So having that motivation and that drive is very important when you're freelancing. And because there will be highs as well as there will
Yeah.
be lows, there won't be only highs. So having the right mindset is super important.
So I feel like a lot of people get into freelancing because they think it's a money making machine and I'll become a
Exactly.
billionaire overnight. I'm like, that's not possible. I'm not a billionaire in 4 years. You're not becoming one overnight. Let's
True,
get this out of
exactly.
the.
Actually, the social media has made everything look too shiny, but it's not. It is
That
not shiny. It's not that shiny. There are fair share of struggles. Even when you are at a job, you will have struggles. It's not like everything is going smooth if you are in a job. Same with freelancing. You will have your own fair share of struggles. Exactly. So, what are your future plans as a freelancer?
So my future plans as a freelancer is like, a few of them include that I want to expand my client base a little. I might start a local agency, like a local social media marketing agency, and I can take on client projects even locally and internationally. Obviously, starting an agency would mean that you hire a few people and you get things working very smoothly, things like that. I feel like it's a little hard, and there's a lot of planning that needs to be done before you get to that point where you can actually outsource your work. Because quality control at the end of the day is the most important part. Like, you can hire as many writers as you want, but if it's not matching the same quality, then what's the point? Because your clients are not going to like the work. So it's
Yeah.
important to offer sort of training and people learning with you, and getting like-minded people together in a room who are willing to grow and willing to work on themselves. Because I feel like part of freelancing is just always being open to learning. You'll always be learning
True.
every
Yeah.
single day. You'll be learning about yourself, about your clients, how to get more, how to do this better, that better. So you need to come into freelancing with this mindset that I'm going to make my own self better, and I'm going to improve how my life looks right now. And so my plans with that is that I would love to connect with more people who have that sort of mindset, who are willing to work in that sense. I actually started this Instagram page to connect with such like-minded people, and I've been lucky to come across a whole community of freelancers, and of people who are trying, and people who have been doing it for a very long while. And it's been amazing. Like, it's been an amazing journey as yet, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the future.
With that, we end the interview. And can you tell us, the audience, where they can find you?
They can find me on my Instagram. It is at freelancing with Tehseen. And they can send me a DM if they want free coaching. If you want me to audit your Upwork profile, offer suggestions, I would be very happy to do that. So you guys can find me on my Instagram.
Okay, awesome. And it was a pleasure to take this interview with you and got to learn so much from you. And I still need to learn a lot more because I'm new to Upwork. So thank you so
I
much.
would love to hear that, you've gotten your first $1,000 job on Upwork like so soon.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.